And welcome back to part 4, folks. So, the Batmobile is getting destroyed. It's been happening for about 48 hours, and these Blackgate henchmen are very bad at destroying vehicles. It also shows, goes to show, I guess, how inefficient the guards are. Again, Batman's never encountered anybody who's been armed before, and these police officers have never been able to protect the car from getting destroyed, I guess. But because this is a video game, unless there's a timer ticking, you can do whatever you please. Anyhow though, in the trunk of the car is the explosive gel, our second upgrade. Now, if you can tell on Batman's chest, there's a big cut over the classic logo. And that's something I talked about in part 1, if you remember. As this game is happening throughout a single night in the Arkham Asylum, Batman's suit will get more and more destroyed as time goes on. You encounter different enemies, and basically through different cutscenes where something horrible happens to Bruce Wayne, you'll see him become more and more disheveled. We have another detective sequence, but this time around, we're looking for something of Commissioner Gordon's, and he's left his tobacco trail, as you can tell from the conversation with Barbara Gordon. Okay, so let's put our first gadget that we've acquired, other than the Batarang obviously, to use. Now, all those weak walls that we saw, we can destroy. We just sprayed explosive gel, and that's opened up a world of new possibilities, not just in the open world to collect collectibles.
Tape patient interview 17. Joker remains uncooperative. My earlier diagnosis remains true. I believe he enjoys his persona too much.
What's up, Doc?
Today I thought we'd try something different.
Oh, you make me blush, Doc. I have a girlfriend.
Dr. Quinzel, I know. I've seen the tapes. I saw what happened.
What can I say? I'm a charmer.
Anyway, I thought it would be good to talk about your childhood.
Oh, ever heard of romance, Doc? I don't give up the goods for free. You'll have to try harder.
What are you hiding?
Didn't you hear me? You scratch my back, Doc, and, well, I won't have you wrapped in plastic and left in a gutter.
Alright, so we see another interview tape from the Joker that's obviously been recorded after Harley Quinn's tapes, because they're just meeting for the first time. That said though, as I said, we have a lot of new possibilities in the overworld when it comes to the explosive gel. And again, if you play the game mostly in detective mode, it's gonna make a world of difference because it's so much simpler. But this is the first instance of a Riddler map. The Riddler taunts you, obviously, saying, "Oh my god, you picked up the map, you're such a pussy." But it's a part of the collectibles, and if you look at your map after picking it up, for the certain section that you have it, you'll be able to see where pretty much all the secrets are, and it's very useful. If you're the type that tries to pick them up as you go, the most that you can, it can really aid you. I mean, in that, or when it comes to the later backtracking before the very end of the game. With that trophy though, we've unlocked another upgrade, and we can upgrade our explosive gel immediately. But because you guys pretty much know by now how much I like the combat in this game, we're gonna go for the special combo throw ability. It's pretty cool, and you'll see it later on in the video. When it comes to this particular trophy, you can actually get it right after a cutscene later on in the game. But if you just glide, you can get it just as easily now. It's just more experience. So, as I said, and as you've probably noticed by now, especially if you've played the game, the sandbox area that you're I guess, confined in this game is the Arkham Island, and it's separated into three big junctures. So Arkham North, Arkham East, and Arkham West. Because this is the first time in Arkham West for us, for example, right now, again we'll have a little collectible session, and it earns you a lot of XP. I think I gained 2 more levels just off of these collectibles. But that said, let's learn more about the Soul of Arkham.
As Gotham's veins slowly filled with pain and suffering, the effects were felt everywhere. My father fell first, infected by some foul disease. My mother lived on, but only in a dream. I returned to the family home to care for her, where she remained in her bed for as long as her body continued to breathe. Her tears kept me awake at night.
Alright, so this is getting a little dark, right? It's getting serious when it comes to the tapes. The Joker, Harley Quinn, their tapes are pretty tame, pretty funny. But when it comes to the spirit of Arkham, I keep saying soul, but what's funny is when it comes to the soul or the spirit of Arkham, I always intertwine those words, not just in this game. It happens to me, I've noticed in other games, and that's something that this Let's Play helped me realize. For example, when I play The Binding of Isaac, I always go between calling the blue hearts soul hearts or spirit hearts. So those words, I guess, are interchangeable for me, which is interesting.
My journey lasted little over a month. Visiting academics in both Metropolis and Keystone, I was exposed to a wealth of new ideas. I began my day returning home in good spirits, eager to see my wife and family. I ended it kneeling in their blood, broken fragments of my life, pouring through dripping red fingers.
But as I mentioned just a few minutes ago, every time we enter a big juncture of the game or a big section that you can freely roam in, we'll always have to unfortunately have a little collectible session. But again, I think that's what separates my Let's Play from the others. Again, I watched plenty of Let's Plays that I enjoyed commentary-wise of this game before actually recording it for preparation. And most of them get a trophy here and there. In the beginning section, they don't miss the first trophy in the vent when it comes to the tutorial fight. But, quickly, unless it's a blind Let's Play, they'll just forego the collectibles. And, they won't fully explore the game. They won't fully explore the backstories of every character that we see so often. And I think that's super important, and I think it's pretty cool how diverse the collectibles can be. You get into this habit of checking every nook and cranny whenever you enter a new room, and it's cool because it helps you really notice the design that this game has. And since we're on that subject, this is something interesting I've actually read a couple of days ago about this game. So, as you can tell, Batman's cape is pretty well done. Like, it has a lot of different distinct animations that you can notice just by looking at Batman walk, by looking at him glide, and so on. But did you know that there's actually a poor soul somewhere who worked on 2 years on this game just on Batman's cape? There's a guy somewhere out there working on Batman's cape for 2 years in the development of this game. His cape actually has over 700 different animations for, different moves, different stages of the game. I just thought that was really interesting.
He's trying to take over the island piece by piece. It looks like medical is his next target. Has anyone got out of the building?
I saw a doctor try and get out. He was torn apart. Throw it in the water. He never stood a chance.
You wait here. I'll be back.
Alright, and now to talk about something we've just skipped over on the screen. As you saw when we actually entered this last part of the Arkham Island, and pretty much the last collectible little mini marathon that we'll have for a long time. Something was getting built.
I returned to my work, but I could not shake the pictures from my mind. I should have been repulsed, but I was more eager than ever to find an explanation for why someone would do this.
So, two different Blackgate henchmen were building something, the Visitor Center. And throughout the game, as you play, you'll hear Joker say, "Oh, we have a party preparation to tend to," right? He keeps saying that, but you brush it off thinking, it's the Joker. Who really cares? But that Visitor Center keeps on getting built more and more as you progress.
Take patient interview 20. Joker is more interesting than I originally believed. When Project Titan is operational, I believe Joker will be the perfect test subject. Good afternoon. Today I thought I'd skip back to our previous conversations about your family.
Of course. I was born in a small fishing village. I always wanted to join the circus, but my father wouldn't really let me.
I don't believe you.
My father was a cop. 1 week from retirement when a mob...
I've seen the movie. What are you scared of?
Scared?
Yes, scared. There's obviously something. Something that made you what you are.
What if I'm too scared to remember? It hurts too much.
Then I can help you.
I like how the Joker genuinely never drops his character. He's always hysterical. He's always the cynical guy who's like, "Oh my god, another batch of these same questions from a different psychiatrist." I absolutely love. Like him as a character in all these universes that you see, even from the Batman animated series in the 90s, obviously, from the Dark Knight series, or even the Arkham series. I think it's absolutely perfectly well made. Not to get on a big ramble when it comes to the DC Universe 2 episodes in a row, but I think it's impossible to compare or stat rank the Joker from the media I just listed off there and the Joker from the Suicide Squad, for example. You know, just seeing the concept art for that universe's Joker just left me, you know, unwilling to even give it a chance, which I think is a bad quality, but, you know, we're not gonna get into that. I don't think those movies are that well made. Okay, so we have another Batman fighting sequence, and this is the throw ability. It can also be comboed very well. I actually stopped the combo right here because I think that I have the next upgrade that I have in my mind, but I didn't. I'm about to get it right after this fight. And yeah, again, these are the bad habits of restarting a game after completing it fully and doing all the bad challenges for so long. But whatever. This is pretty much gonna grant us another level up here. We haven't seen these Joker teeth for a while, but as I said, most of them are just waypoints from one story part to another, and there's only a handful of those that you'll actually have to look out for and search the rooms you're in thoroughly to find. I absolutely love the backdrop when it comes to scaling these buildings on Arkham. You know, whether it's the intensive treatment building, whether it's the guard towers or the medical facility, the backdrop, the backdrop will always be this beautiful scenery of Gotham City. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a real shit city to live in. I would move out immediately, especially if I was a billionaire like Bruce Wayne. But aesthetically, again, it's been beautifully built. You know, the water in the distance looks amazing. The buildings, everything. Ah man, I just love this game, okay?
Hey, scram, bats! This is my me time.
Where's Gordon?
Wouldn't you like to
over
know?
here.
Shut up!
Crazy bitch. Harley!
Ah!
What's he doing here? It's too early.
I'm sorry, Puddin'. Don't be angry with
Okay,
me.
let me interject for a second. I thought that the Commissioner Gordon tied up somewhere in the background saying, "Oh, you crazy bitch," was absolutely hilarious every time I played. This game makes me crack up so much more than it's supposed to, I think. But I love the one-liners that this game brings. Like, the quips from different characters are just absolutely amazing. Okay. So with that, as I said, we leveled up, and I picked up the special combo takedown. You don't have to risk getting your combos interrupted anymore when you take down an enemy on the ground. You can just take down an enemy by breaking one of his limbs inside a critical strike combo, and you can chain that with everything else you have. So again, your batarangs, the throws we've learned a little bit earlier in the episode, and so on. Anyway though, I find it funny how in that little section, which is missable again if you don't enter the medical facility from the front gates, you'll never see that. But I think it's hilarious that throughout this playthrough, I think I got hurt by an enemy only once or twice. Like, rarely do I actually get hurt by the henchmen that you encounter. However though, the electrical fences, just in this playthrough on camera, have hurt me twice now, and I think that's hilarious. But anyway, with another building entrance, it's another new section of the game. It's the medical facility. We're entering from the roof, so right away most of it we can explore from the very gates. But we will someday. And that means more vent explorations. More Riddler trophies. Don't you guys love this game? I imagine somebody who isn't that into completion ratings when it comes to playing video games, rather than just, you know, enjoying the story and progressing the way I guess a casual player would. Which, you know, no offense. I know that that comes off as an insult, but it really isn't. I just imagine all the players who genuinely just are in love with the story of the game, watch this playthrough and think, Jesus Christ, this is just a collectible game. And it really isn't, but you know, depends the way you like to play your games. And I think the option to have that is absolutely great, like I keep mentioning. Alright, so in the big lobby of the medical facility, we have another Predator section. We have 5 armed guards in a little bit of a smaller room than before, than the intensive treatment lobby. But I'll show off the effects the explosive gel could have when it comes to these Predator challenges. You can spray it on breakable walls, breakable ceilings, breakable floors like you see down there. There's a lot of use when it comes to the explosive gel, and every single one of your gadgets can be used just the same way when it comes to these sections, or in the middle of your combos in fights too. So I think that's really, really well made. When it comes to fighting though, you usually wouldn't use explosive gel the way you would a batarang, right? You wouldn't combo one of your punches by quickly spraying him and exploding him in the middle of the fight. It wouldn't work out that well. But what you would do is you could lure an enemy with a batarang, or another future upgrade that I won't talk about just yet, right? And then you could spray preemptively the explosive gel on the floor, around the corner, somewhere that you know that the enemy is being lured to, and as they walk by you can explode it, and without actually destroying any surfaces, still knock out the enemy. You know, be smart with your upgrades. This game lends itself to a lot of creativity when it comes to your fighting, and you can really do what you enjoy in games the most. You can take out all these enemies completely silently without ever getting detected. And if you enjoy those stealth sections, right, games like Dishonored, games like Deus Ex, if you like to play them that way, games like Hitman, obviously, right? If you enjoy completely stealth aspects of games, you can play through the entire Batman, you know, the entire saga, not just this game, that way. That's very cool. The only gripe I guess I'd have to mention that I have with these Predator sections is that most of the time you'll have a waiting period. unless you're doing a challenge run and you're really repeating this process over and over, that you learn inherently how the enemies move, you'll have this period where the enemies will kind of be close together but not too far apart for you to interject, and sometimes you'll be on this tightrope of, is it worth me just using a glide kick and getting noticed so I can just beat this area faster than I'm supposed to? You know, again, it comes down to preferences, but when it comes to stealth sections in games, and I've always been like this, whether it's an old school retro game or a new game, this isn't related to any sort of achievement or any playstyle at all. But in this type of section, getting detected actually gives me kind of like an anxiety attack, because the whole point is that you're supposed to be this predator in this room filled with enemies that have no clue where you are. And, getting detected in an area like this always like gives me, that stomach feeling of, oh my god, I messed up, I'm a disappointment. I don't know, it's the way I play the game. I'm a weird guy, don't listen to me that much, I'm just rambling. Again, just like I said last time, there's so many better things for me to do right now in this finals, not just finals week, but finals month for me. Corner takedowns are a thing as well. They're never given a real introduction or a tutorial when it comes to this game, at least. And all you do is you crouch in your corner, you press corner cover, and you wait for the enemy to walk by. If you don't actually click anything when he walks by a corner, he'll get startled the same way one of the enemies got startled in the Predator section of the intensive treatment lobby, and you can still beat him up without getting hurt. Or you can do corner takedown, which immediately takes him down. So these floor grates are something that I mentioned last time that I wanted to show off in this video, that you can use again to take out the enemies. But with that, with another Predator section completed, we have more puzzles to tend to, more collectibles. My favorite, that's not what I don't play Batman to see what happens with the Joker, to defeat the villains, to meet the characters. There's just something about small question mark trophies that gets me off, guys. It's just whenever I see a question mark on the map, I lose my shit. Okay, but other than that, there's also puzzles that pertain to the characters that we've already met. In this universe of the game, Killer Croc isn't just a guy, or isn't just a monster, rather, that really has no backstory. He's just scary. He's born with a genetic mutation, and it's pretty cool. But this is a glitch.
What happened? 1 minute we were doing our evening rounds, and the next, armed thugs burst into the room and took us hostage.
Did they have anyone with them?
They took someone into the elevator. I couldn't tell who it was.
They obviously didn't want to be followed. The elevator appears to have been powered down. You're going to be okay here.
We'll be fine.
What about the others? We heard gunfire. They could be dead. We should go and help.
Oh no, I forgot. Dr. Kellerman was in the patient observation room, and Dr. Chen went to surgery.
And Dr. Young went to X-ray.
Okay, stay here. I'll find the other doctors.
I'm here, Mike. Hold
So,
still.
because this is a video game again, conveniently, all the doctors that are working at the time as the asylum gets taken over, conveniently went into all different possible areas of the medical facility, and we have to rescue them one by one. The Joker's crew has gone into the facility, and the medical staff is at danger. But let's line up some more question marks, boys. That's what this game is about. The Arkham question marks.
Don't feel too proud, Batman.
One of the cool things that I actually didn't know before is that in this part of the game, you don't actually have to progress with the X-ray room, the surgery room, or any other room immediately. You can just, turn around, and that never really came to me, because, we entered through the roof, there was an electrical fence, so I always thought, well, we might as well just proceed, right? That's the point. But if you don't, you'll actually skip out on a kind of a small headache later on in the game, where you will have to return to the medical facility, but you won't have to trek through the main lobbies to pick up the upgrades. Maybe I'm lying, maybe you still will. I mean, I love it, so you'll see me doing it anyway.
What should have been revenge turned to pity. This poor dog needed my help.
And that's another chronicle of the sadistic madman we don't know anything about other than his crazy ramblings. Another little glitch to get up to the gargoyle. This game's great. Something I actually wanted to bring up is another little cool trivia fact I didn't know before. In episode 2, I believe, we faced the room that's been contaminated with Joker's toxic gas. And something I never really recounted for or read about before a couple of days ago again is that we have an interview tape on this desk.
Very well.
What is it that walks on 4 legs, then 2 legs, and finally 3 legs?
A human being. As a baby, it crawls on 4 legs. As an adult, it walks on 2. And in later years, it uses a cane.
Good try. But the answer to all 3 is a baby. True, it crawls on all 4s, but cut off its legs and it can only wiggle on 2 limbs. Give it a crutch, it can hobble around on 3. You see?
It's horrible. How can you even joke about that?
Easily, Doctor. It's not my baby.
As I was saying, there's more of those rooms coming up in the game with the toxic gas, right? And if you actually have a pirated version of the game, this is something the creators actually worked on because the development has been going on for such a long time. If you have a pirated version of the game, you won't be able to disable the toxic gas in those rooms. And you won't be able to actually glide for further distances in those rooms specifically, meaning that rooms like that can get you stuck in them forever, and you're pretty much either forced to become better at cracking games or to actually go out and support the developers and buy the game like you're supposed to, right? But anyhow, as I mentioned, we're going on a little bit of a, I guess, detour for just a second. There's 2 riddles we can pick up in this main hall, and this is where Harley Quinn was. She's not here anymore, so we can pick up that interview tape we've missed, and we can solve this riddle on the wall of Bruce Wayne's plaque. It also tells us a little bit about Batman's trusty companion, Alfred, who's been with him ever since he was a kid. But with that, we've done a lot, we've gotten a lot of new abilities, and I'll see you guys next time when we rescue the rest of the medical facility in Arkham Island. See you guys then.
I was determined to prove him wrong, so I entered a contest at school. A $20 prize to the kid who could figure out an almost impossible logic problem. I won, of course.
And that pleased your father?
Hardly. He was convinced I had cheated. He kept yelling, "You must have cheated! Admit it, you moron! You cheated!" I swore I didn't, and he hit me for lying.
I'm sorry to hear that,